What's going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and because Dragon Ball Super seems to be taking its sweet time recruiting all of the characters for the Tournament of Power, I still have time to talk about them before the actual tournament starts. So, without further ado, let's talk about Tien and Roshi. Because these two characters don't have as much misconceptions about them among the fan base, I figured I would do both of them at the same time, and I'll do the same for Androids 17 and 18 as well. The big thing is Tien, and it's like his power scaling. That's the big thing, so I'll kind of save that. As far as Roshi is concerned, the show itself has already addressed this, all the people saying that he shouldn't be in the tournament because he's so much weaker than everyone, he's below Raditz and all this shit. Whether you want to say it makes sense or not, he has been training, and he has fought Frieza soldiers. He has fought multiple Frieza soldiers in his buff form. He does run out of stamina. He's not incredibly strong, but I would say he's definitely a lot stronger, significantly stronger than he used to be, where he was, getting his ass kicked by Demon King Piccolo and shit like that. Though I guess he didn't really get his ass kicked by Demon King Piccolo. He just tried to do the Mafuba and failed, but still, you know what I mean. He wasn't as strong as him, just regardless. The point I'm trying to get to, though, is that his power level really doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. You need some level of strength, and there probably will be people in his ballpark, but even if there isn't, he has experience. He has tricky techniques. He has strategy. Those are the important qualities as to why Roshi is on this team. Like I said, the show has already established this, but I feel like there's already fans denying it because there's always fans that are going to deny anything that happens in Dragon Ball because, oh, this, or that, or whatever, and I know that power levels were a big deal in Dragon Ball for a while. If you were significantly stronger than your opponent, there was basically nothing your opponent could do to you. But at the same time, tournaments and ring outs and shit were not a factor throughout the Z portion of the series. I did Z portion in finger quotes because it's all just Dragon Ball, but still, there were not really any tournaments. There was Goku versus Cell, and ring outs were actually in consideration during the beginning parts of the fight, and then Cell said fuck it. But as a whole, there's no tournament-style arcs in the Z portion of the series. It's all just straight-up fighting, so of course, if it's a straight-up fist fight, someone who's way stronger will win, but if you can land that ring out, if you can use strategy, if you can use teamwork, that's different. That's a whole new dynamic that no tournament in Dragon Ball has ever had, so I think including Roshi is actually a good move. Again, if you wanted to err on the safe side, you could just go for power and get Goten and Trunks, but they're kind of loose cannons. Or you could maybe throw in a Yamcha, which Yamcha, on one hand, I kind of wanted to see in there just because you'd have, like, the original gang back together. You'd have Goku, Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin. No Chaozu, but, he's pretty much unofficially retired. Not from old age, but from just not being a character anymore, really. He hardly ever shows up. We'll probably see him again when they recruit Tien, but yeah, Chaozu, yeah, he wouldn't have the strategy. He's pretty dumb, actually. I kind of forget that, Chaozu is actually pretty fucking dumb. But yeah, it's sort of a digression, sort of an aside as to why he would not be in the tournament. But yeah, Roshi, he is stronger than a lot of people give him credit for. Not anything crazy powerful, but he is stronger than people give him credit for. Remember, he never did use his buff mode in any of the tournaments, other than to blow up the moon. So it's not like blowing up the moon is any small thing, and yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how he fares, if he'll get knocked out early, if his strategies will matter, how the recruiting process for him is going to go. It'll be interesting to see. Now for Tien, the big one, because I talked about Roshi and his power scaling and everything. Tien is the big one. Is he the strongest human? Is Krillin the strongest human? Is Tien even human? As far as I know, Tien is a descendant of the Three-Eyed Clan, or maybe I'm not wording that right. It might be called, like, Three-Eyed Tribe or something like that. I don't know the exact name. But he's a descendant of that. But either way, people try to use this as a technicality to say that he is stronger than Krillin, but oh, he's not technically an Earthling or technically human, so Krillin is the strongest Earthling. Krillin is just stronger than Tien. And people try to say that Tien trains all the time. He also apparently has a farm. See, people always try to bring up the three-eyed clan thing, but they don't bring up the farm thing. I guess their research on Tien didn't go that far. He has a farm, which is hard work, but it's not training. It's not hard work on their level. Like, even Tien... Honestly, even Tien, when he first appeared, you know, farming would not be good training for him. I mean, superhuman level, as soon as he was introduced, he was superhuman. So, yeah, running a farm, not going to train him very well. Training in his spare time, okay, fine. People have different limitations, you know? I could try to be as good at any sport ever, and there's going to be someone who's just naturally better than me. You know, there's people who are naturally thinner than other people. There's people who are naturally taller, or naturally have better hand-eye coordination. There's all kinds of limitations and advantages and disadvantages that people have. Krillin gets significantly stronger when he trains. Tien clearly doesn't. You know, Krillin was near Goku level, or in the ballpark of Goku level. Goku, who was a Saiyan and just a freak of nature as a kid, and Krillin was in his ballpark after training with Master Roshi, and he's just a pure human, and that was when he was like 12. Tien was, I believe, a young adult when he first got introduced. Maybe he was a teenager, but I think he was a young adult, though I'm not sure. And he was about as strong as Goku. You know, I mean, because if training is all that mattered, just continuously training and training and training, Roshi should be like the strongest character in the whole universe. Because Roshi's like over 300. And Frieza is extremely old as well, but he never really applied any effort, and he was naturally insanely strong because of his species. And then after training for just 4 months, he unlocked a new form that rivals God power, possibly even the God form of his race. You know, if there's a Saiyan God, there might be whatever Frieza is, you know, God. Or isn't he like a mutation or something? I don't know. I'm not going to go into like Frieza's shit. We're not talking about Frieza. I think that's all right though, because there's like I said, there's not a lot to talk about with these characters. But the point I'm getting at is that Tien is just naturally not as gifted as Krillin. And it's kind of weird to call Krillin gifted because he does get his ass kicked a lot, but he is. But he had the self-doubt issues, and recently in Super he's had PTSD. I think I said those in the right order. And because of those things, they were really holding him back, but he seems to have come to grips with them a lot better, and we'll have to see. I mean, he did not freeze up against Super Saiyan Blue. Now, that's possibly because Goku's his friend, and he knows Goku's not going to kill him. We'll have to see how he'll stack up if he's facing down Jiren or Toppo and feels their energy, because you can't feel Super Saiyan Blue. You can feel the pressure from it, but you can't feel the actual amount of ki if you're not a god. So how he'll be confronting Jiren or Toppo, if he will, we'll have to wait and see. But he's gotten a lot better, and I think that's just going to push him even further ahead of Tien. And then people try to bring up the Cell thing. That's the big thing with Tien. Well, he fucking damaged Cell with those tri-beams. Okay, no he didn't. He absolutely did not. What makes more sense? That Cell was being pushed down by Tien repeatedly, not hurt, but just pushed down by the ki wall that the fucking Kikoho or Tri-Beam is, just pushing down on him repeatedly, or he was actually damaging Cell. Which one makes more sense when you consider that Tien got completely destroyed by Android 17, and then 10 days later, or how many ever days later it was, that they were kind of looking around for Cell and shit with no time to train, maybe like a week with no training, he's now able to damage someone who is not only stronger than 17, but has 17 absorbed into them. No, I know the fucking Tri-Beam is like really powerful because it takes life energy, but no, that makes no sense. And for people to defend that and say that he was hurt because he had dirt smudges on him that people mistook for bruises is ridiculous. And how are you going to not complain about that, but you're going to complain about Trunks' Super Saiyan Rage? You're going to complain about Frieza's golden form, or Frieza getting so much stronger in just 4 months. But fucking Tien, with no time to train, in just like a week, is way stronger than he was before, and it's actually damaging second form Cell. You're going to defend that, you're going to use that to justify his strength, but you're going to downplay and shit on Dragon Ball Super for the Trunks thing and the Frieza thing. No, fuck that double standard. That's horseshit. And people try to say, well, though, how do you know those are dirt smudges? How do you know they're not bruises? Because it just makes more sense within the context of the show that he got dirt on him from being smashed into the rocks repeatedly. He wasn't hurt by the attacks, but getting slammed into the dirt is going to get you dirty. I mean, that's just how it is. However, I still think Tien has a place in this tournament for sure. He's smart. He's smart, but he is kind of prone to sacrificing himself. I mean, with Cell, with Nappa. I hope he doesn't try to do that kind of thing in the tournament, because he is kind of, I don't want to say sacrifice happy, but he has done that multiple times in the series where he will sacrifice his life energy or practically kill himself. In the case of Nappa, he did kill himself to try to deal damage to a powerful opponent, and hopefully he's smart enough to not do that, and he's smart enough to use his experience and his cunning. Maybe we'll see the forearms again. Maybe he'll use the clone technique. The clone technique does have a fatal flaw, but if you're fighting the right power level people or use the proper strategy, you're basically giving your team, what would it be? There's 10 of them, he can split into 4, so basically you turn your 10-man team into a 14-man team, and or 13-man team, and those clones would probably still be significantly stronger than even Roshi, so that'd be actually really smart to do, honestly, and I don't think that would be illegal of a move to use. So yeah, Tien, great arsenal of attacks. He'll definitely work out in the tournament. It'll be good to have him. You know, when I lay out the strategies and techniques he can use, it really does surprise me that no one has thought of him yet in the actual show. Like, he will join the tournament. We've seen him there, but it is kind of interesting that we haven't actually seen him be brought up at all for this. They brought up Roshi before they brought up Tien, which is kind of interesting. Also, I think it's weird that they're not going to test Roshi's strength at all. Like, they had to test Krillin, who's obviously stronger than Roshi, but they're not going to test Roshi. Well, maybe they will, but it seems weird that they went to Krillin first, even though Roshi was like the first person they brought up, but that's just the total aside. So yeah, while Tien is definitely not as strong as Krillin, and definitely not strong enough to hurt Cell like a lot of people think he is, and that double standard is really annoying, where it's like, oh yeah, he hurt Cell, even though he should not be anywhere near strong enough to do it, and Dragon Ball Super gets shit for that all the time, even recently when Goku was holding back, and Krillin pushed back his Kamehameha, you know, because he was holding back an insane amount of power just to kind of be on Krillin's level. No one understands that. Everyone says, oh, they're overpowering Krillin, or oh, Super Saiyan Blue's underpowered, or the power scaling's fucked. But when it comes to Tien, oh no. With Tien, it's fine. With Tien, he totally hurts Cell, even though it makes no fucking sense. Now, get that double standard out of here. He's not as strong as Krillin, but he is still a very, very powerful asset in terms of strategy, in terms of cunning, and power to a certain extent, honestly. He's not a slouch. You know, he'll be able to fight some of the weaker dudes that are there. You know, the humans aren't, like, insanely weak. You know what I mean? Like, everyone acts like the humans are still, like, Saiyan Saga or some shit. Like, yeah, they're pretty weak compared to the Saiyans, but they're not fucking slouches. They gotta be at least Ginyu Force level and above, easily. I'm probably even underplaying them a bit. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Next up, I'll probably be doing Android 17 and 18 together. And then who's left? I think Boo and Piccolo. Well, they can probably get their own separate videos, honestly. There's probably enough there for both of them to get individual videos. And that's it, right? Who else is on the team? I think that's it, actually. So yeah, with that being said, what do you guys think of Roshi and Tien? What do you think about their place in the Tournament of Power? Do you think it makes sense for them to be there? Do you not? Do you still think he's stronger than Krillin for some reason? Go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.